So we're at the time of year where spring is happening. It's the springtime, and this is the time of year that we celebrate the Buddha's birthday. In Japanese, that time of year, that festival, is called hana matsuri, translates as flower festival. I remember when I lived out in Japan at Gyokuryuji, there would be parades and like celebrations during this time of year where families and friends would go and they would sit under the cherry blossom trees. And there would be parades, there would be special events, performances, good food to eat. I remember we would go to a little town just next to Seki. Seki was the name of the town that Roshi's temple was in. The town was called Mino Kamo, and they would always have this time of year like a festival with all of these floats. People would be carrying floats, and they would have these cherry blossom, like paper mache cherry blossom decorations that they were carrying. And if you go to temples in Japan during this time of year, you'll see typically an altar with the baby Buddha on the altar, and typically there's flowers all around him. And the statue of the Buddha as a boy, as a baby, he's typically pointing towards the heavens and he's pointing towards the earth. And that is going back to the story of what some of the texts say happened when he was born. So his mother was traveling apparently during the time that she was pregnant with the Buddha to be. And they came across like a park along the way. She was on her way home back to their town or their village. And she chose to like rest in this garden or in this in this flower garden. And this is where she gave birth to the Buddha. And according to the old stories, everything in the garden like comes into bloom at this moment or during this time. And it's just a very profound and beautiful moment when the Buddha is born. And the stories, sometimes they talk about like the water dragons coming out, and the water dragons are often associated as being like the keepers of wisdom or insight. And there's this sense of like the water dragons bathing the baby Buddha in nectar, and just flower petals falling, the sky, rain falling from the sky a little bit, just a lot of really auspicious signs manifesting. So it's really pointing to that place of like there's a full aliveness happening there in that moment where this baby is born. And of course, this is the baby Buddha in the story, but this is also us. We're born as a completely perfect being. And the flowers are blooming. Everything is alive for us, too, in this baby state. So according to the story, he takes 7 steps. Okay, somewhat unusual for a baby to take 7 steps. But takes 7 steps, and then he points to the heavens, and he points to the earth, and says, under the heavens and above the earth, I alone am the world-honored one. So there's a sense of aloneness, or maybe like oneness there, that he's pointing towards, or that the texts are pointing us towards. Like it's just him. He is everything. He is the universe. He's all of it. And if you've ever seen, you've looked into the eyes of a young baby, or a young child, like there's only that. There's only like the depths of the universe looking back at you. There's nobody there, in a sense. So this baby place that's being talked about or described in the old texts is a place that every one of us knows. And it's the place that during this ceremony we're reconnecting with. So typically during a Buddha's birthday ceremony, this hana matsuri, there's the statue of the baby Buddha, and he's typically standing or sitting in like a bowl of sweet green tea. And the sweet green tea is like, it's pointing towards that nectar quality of like a baby's lived experience, this like enlightened state, or this place of like purity and deep connection with everything around them. So during the ceremony, you come to the altar, and you often you'll bow to the altar, to the baby Buddha, and then with a ladle you'll wash the baby Buddha. So there's this sense of, like, there's this external recognition of how special this story is, and who the Buddha was, and his life and his practice, and then sharing the tradition from him onwards. But there's also this recognition of us coming back into our true place, this baby state that isn't separated from anything, that's always actually here for us, just a matter of settling back into and connecting with. So when we bathe the baby Buddha in the sweet green tea, we are it. Like that's it as us. When you truly are there and you're bathing the Buddha, you can do this from a place of presence, from a place of awareness, of really being there with that. You can come into this place of oneness that the baby state is pointing us to. So it's like our enlightened potential. That's something we always have access to. Sometimes it can just come out of focus for us. So the ceremony helps to kind of encourage us. It helps us to realign with who we really are in the deepest way. And of course, the encouragement there is the ceremony helps us to do that, but then what about after the ceremony? What about your life? How can you carry that presence, that connection, that living from your truth into your life and into your interactions with everybody and into everything that you do? Because people can feel that. Like there's There's something that happens. There's a recognition that happens anytime you, like, people notice when you're in that place. So the ceremonies are really nice chance to really reconnect with our baby state. It's like everything can come into bloom for us in that moment where we bathe the Buddha, the baby Buddha. Things can come into flower externally, internally. It's like that division or that separation kind of melts away. And there's something truer, something deeper there. Shinzan Roshi used to talk a lot about this baby state. Zen practice, our meditation practice, is really about coming back into this place. So I just want to read a passage from Practical Zen that talks a little bit about this. But we'll have our Buddha's birthday ceremony next week, and we'll do this process. If you're welcome to bring some flowers. Typically we have an altar at the front here with a lot of different flower jars or vases. You're welcome to bring like little snacks or sweet things. You don't have to bring anything, whatever works. But we will do that next week. Typically it's celebrated in Japan around April 8th or so. So I'll just finish up with this, this passage here. It was the beginning of April, the time when most Zen temples in Japan have an elaborate ceremony to mark the anniversary of the Buddha's birth. Instead, our Zen teacher, Shinzan Roshi, had us out in the bamboo grove below Gyokuryuji Temple, digging up fresh bamboo shoots to eat. The ease and vigor of his movements belied his 70-odd years. Bamboo roots are tough and awkward to dig, so after a few hours' work, we rested in the shade drinking mugi-cha, chilled barley tea. Shinzan Roshi sat beside me. "No ceremony today," he said. "We make new baby Buddha like this." He made digging movements with his hands. I was new in the temple, having spent 14 years practicing in a formal and tradition-minded Zen monastery in the UK. Shinzan Roshi's freewheeling style and palpable joy was very different. "Baby is very beautiful," he continued. "Human baby is just completely perfect. When hungry, it cries. When sleepy, it sleeps." He smiled and added, "Perhaps in Christian Bible, the Garden of Eden is like this baby time. It's a very, very short time. We grow, study, leave the happy garden, and long, long time, maybe longest of any animal, we grow. As we grow, the me is stronger and stronger. This is me." He pointed to himself. "That is the world." He pointed away. "Adult time is split. Little me, great big world. This is needed. Adult person is responsible, so I must know myself, take charge of my life. I wanted to be a big businessman, make money, build something." He laughed. I had heard previously that his business ventures had been spectacular disasters. "But also, adult time is very lonely. Little me, great big world. This is why we practice." He stood up. "Our practice is to now dig bamboo." Over the following months and years, Shinzan Roshi would frequently expand on these simple truths. Adulthood, the stage at which a person takes responsibility, is inevitably and inexorably the place of separation, a state that the existentialists like to call alienation. We come up with all sorts of strategies to manage this conflict and loneliness, investing in relationships, creativity, success, family life. But even the greatest successes in these areas can do no more than distract us from the fundamental split. Little me versus the great big world. Most adults, Shinzan Roshi would claim, stop growing and stay in this state, this awful worldview. Life inevitably becomes a tragedy. But fortunately, there's more. The split worldview is not wrong or untrue, it's just partial. The oneness with the universe that we experienced in our infanthood is still available to us. This is by no means a regression. It is essential we remain adult and fully responsible, but we can nevertheless fully reconnect. We can come home in a way that encompasses both unity and duality, and this is the enlightenment of Zen. Many people have experiences of wonder or joy, perhaps at times of falling in love or the birth of a child. But more fundamental and transformative than any experience is the shift in which all experiences can be seen with new eyes. Nothing is changed. Life continues, but we find there is nothing to resist or defend against. We can be happy. We can know that on one level, we are actually indestructible. Many of the Zen meditation practices, okay, and then he goes on. Okay. More than this, the ancestors of the Rinzai tradition taught us how to live a grounded, strong, energized life, so you can make a difference in the world and be of use to others.